that verse again.
Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Holy, holy is He. Sing a new song to Him who sits on heaven's mercy seat. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. Clothed in rainbows of living color, flashings of lightning, rolls of thunder. Blessing and honor, strength and glory and power be to you, the only wise King. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. Filled with wonder, awestruck wonder, have the mention of your name. Jesus, your name is power, breath and living water, such a marvelous mystery. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you.
So he is jealous.
He is jealous for me. He loves like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of His wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I'm unaware these afflictions eclipse by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. And oh, how He loves us so. Oh, how He loves us. portion.
We are His portion, He is our prize. Drawn to redemption by grace in His eyes. His grace is an ocean, we're all sinking.
Heaven meets earth.
So heaven meets earth like an unforeseen kiss of mine. Heart turns violently inside of my chest, and I don't have time to maintain these regrets when I think about the way that He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves.
We know how He loves us so. Oh, how He loves us. How He loves us. So sing that one more time. And oh, how He loves us so.
How He loves us. How He loves us so.
Yeah, He loves us.
Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us.
Thank you. Will you be seated?
Your love is like a radiant diamond bursting inside us. We cannot contain. Your love will surely come find us like blazing wildfire, singing your name. God of mercy, sweet love of mine, I have surrendered to your design. May this offering stretch across the sky. These hallelujah be multiplied.
I guess they thought I was the only one speaking tonight, but it's not true. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Emily Loudon. I'm the Director of Student Life here, and about a month ago, I traveled with about 11 students up to Camden, New Jersey for a mission trip. Worked with a group called Urban Promise, and I know several of you guys have probably heard about Urban Promise over the last couple weeks through Last Chapel and just other seniors and people talking about it, but I wanted to give you a general overview of what Urban does. They have many different missions up there. There's an elementary school for K through fourth graders. There's a high school for underperforming students in the area, so if they're flunking out or not doing well, they can come to Urban and they can help them perform and get up to their reading level and up to, so they can graduate. They have a Boat Works program for students, and they learn to build boats. They have an after-school program. There's a lot of other different missions that they do. While we were up there, we did mostly physical manual labor in the morning, and then we worked with the kids, as you guys can see on this slideshow. The week we were there was the Junior High Olympics, and so it was a competition among all of the groups. For the kids were all divided into 3 teams, and we were divided amongst those teams for them to perform. So one day was Spirit Day, one day was Physical Day, and one day was Double Dare Day, which was disgusting. There was worms eaten, there was crickets eaten, it was a mess. The kids loved it. You don't want to hear about my experience, so I'm going to let these two talk about their experiences as they're watching the slideshow. So that's the Boat Works program that we got to see. There you go, it's at the beginning. So why don't you tell us who you are and why you went on this mission trip?
Well, my name is Lauren Hyatt, and I'm a cheerleader here at King University. And the reason that I went to Camden, New Jersey was because of Dan, because he literally told me I had to go. I had no choice, honestly. But I'm really glad I went. I had a blast the whole time I was there.
My name is Eric Jones. I'm a senior. I went because really I'm a senior and I didn't have cross-cultural yet. So I needed to go, and I decided I wanted to do something rather than write a paper because I really hate writing papers.
Eric literally joined us the second to last week we could go, so it's fun.
So it was fun.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so what were your expectations of going on a mission trip? And what were your expectations when you were in camp, working with the kids, working physical labor, things like that?
Before we were always told about how much poverty the kids were under, and how much it's like a cyclical process that they just can't escape. And myself, before I was a little skeptic. I was like, I'm a firm believer of if you really want to better yourself and put your nose to the grindstone, anybody should be able to do it. But when we got there, I saw how much poverty these kids were really under. They really have some odds stacked against them that we don't in this area. They don't even have things such as like an accredited high school, a public high school that they can go to and claim to go to college. So it's hard for them to escape out of it like we could. They've been fed their whole lives, like they don't have the education, they're never going to succeed, and they brought up on this as a fact. So it really opened my eyes that they need people like us to come in and encourage them, to help them, to really make them understand they can succeed, but they need our help.
My expectations, I was a little nervous. One, I've never been up north before, and as you can tell by my accent, I should not be up there, obviously. But I was really, really nervous because also it's considered is it the third most violent city? Yeah. Yeah, I was really scared that I was going to get hurt, honestly. But other than that, I didn't really have any expectations because I didn't know it was going to be like.
Did the kids make fun of your accent?
Oh, all the time. Also, before I left, I made the wise decision to, as you can see by the pictures, dye my hair like this really beautiful orange color on the top. And they used to call me Carrot, and the whole time I was there, it was great.
You loved it. All right. So, what is a funny story or an impactful moment that happened while you guys were up in Camden?
Well, half funny, half impactful. They kind of tie in together. When I went, I was also like a little worried how well I'd get along with people. These weren't the normal people I hung out with, not the normal type of group. I was like, our personalities going to clash or something. And then the first day, it really scared me. Because we show up 6 a.m. in the morning to get on the van. And so I'm there, I get in the van, I got early, got in the very back, like I was asleep the whole way there. And the people in the van, we were like 2 to a seat. There's 3 rows, 2 to a seat. We're pretty comfortable. I was like, oh, I can do this. I'm gonna sleep the whole way. And then somebody said, well, Alex is late. It's like who's Alex? Like Alex Jensen. And I was like, well, we're gonna be able to leave on time. They're like, I don't think he's awake. I was like, oh, man. And so they finally get hold of him. He shows up. I'm like, I'm in the very back. He's gonna sit back here. Like everybody's talking about, oh, we don't want him to sit with us. And sure enough, he climbs all the way to the back. And I was just like, damn. And so I pretty well hated Alex the first day. But before I put him on my bad books forever, I was like, well, I'll give him a chance, or I'll talk to him. But I actually got to know him. Alex is a really cool dude, and we became real good friends on the trip. We actually hung out most of the time there. So it was impactful to like the age-old don't judge a book by its cover. Just accept the people you go on a trip with and stuff, and just go in with it with an open mind.
You also got to scrape tar off the gym floor with Alex for a good portion of the afternoon one day, didn't you?
Yeah, that was our story.
They had fun. So what's a funny story or an impactful moment for you, Lauren?
Well, if I can recall this perfectly, because it was a really good story, we were given a job throughout the week. Don't believe it. So it was at first Taquania, me, Bonnie, and Tia, and we were supposed to paint all these offices. And so we had this bet, me and Bonnie, that, sorry, I can't do this without laughing, that I wouldn't know all the songs on a radio station. And if you really knew me, you would know I have a very good memory. I can remember almost anything. And we started listening to the songs, and like, as the day goes on, Bonnie's like, she's gonna mess up, I know she is, she's gonna mess up. And the bet was that if I knew all the songs, then Bonnie had to dance for everyone that was at the trip. And she still hasn't done it. So, therefore, if y'all want to watch her, she's going to go out on the Oval after chapel, and she's going to do her 15-second dance. No, I didn't.
Okay. This wasn't on the list. I'm sorry. Not really. So how did this trip impact you after you've come back? You've been back for about 3 or 4 weeks. You come back, you're doing classes, you're going to practices, you're doing your normal routine. How has this trip impacted you since you've been back?
Mainly not to take anything for granted. I mean, we have so much here. It's cheap. Like me personally, my parents have pretty good jobs. I have a lot that those kids don't have. I mean, I had a public school that was at least accredited, and that they don't have. So it's just really enjoy what you have. Don't take it for granted, and just thank everybody that has allowed your life to be so easy.
I would say that mine's kind of like Eric's too, but also just the friends that I made that I didn't even know like went to school here, and like I didn't meet until the trip. Like since then we have been inseparable, and that's been really great because like I really care about them, and I think that our like friendship will last for a long time.
All right, so these people who are sitting out here, and for those juniors who haven't done the cross-cultural yet, and don't wait till the last minute, like Eric did. So what words of encouragement would you have for those who are wanting to go on a mission trip or kind of sitting in on these pews saying, well, I kind of want to go, but I don't know, what if I don't know anybody, all that fun stuff?
I would say go into it with an open mind. Don't expect really anything when you go. If you go in with your own agenda, you're just going to be let down. When you go on a mission trip, the mission trip is not for ourselves, but it's for the people that we're going to help. So you will have a much more fulfilling and great experience if you go with that mindset.
I know that the Camden kids actually came here for their spring break last week, and we asked them like what they liked about the work groups coming in and stuff like that, and they said that the only thing that they didn't like was when they didn't act themselves and they didn't like really express themselves to them and weren't very open with them and didn't share like their challenges in life, because they may have like these great challenges, but like we have them too, and like they really respect it whenever you share that stuff with them as well.
Awesome. So if you're interested in going to Camden or going on a mission trip, you can talk to Michelle or Brian or Dan or myself, and we'd be happy to talk to you guys about going for next year for spring break. So Lauren in New York, they're going to talk about their trip and what they did for their. Morning. Okay. So I was part of a group of 12 students and 2 faculty members, staff members, Michelle Fagan and Dr. Alexander Brumlin, that traveled a long trip to Brooklyn, New York. We took a 13-hour train ride from Lynchburg, Virginia, all the way up to Penn Station. It's a nice ride. I'll encourage you to go once. But and while we were there, we got to tour around New York and kind of see the big city. But we also worked with CAMBA, which is a nonprofit organization that is based in Brooklyn, New York. They have over 50 offices that serve Manhattan area as well as Brooklyn, mainly Brooklyn. And they serve over 35 individuals and families that are facing serious issues. Low-income families who are faced with homelessness, language disparities, domestic violence, HIV and AIDS risks, or maybe they're dealing with it, as well as issues with school. And they serve a wide age range from young children all the way up to the elderly. So it's a really great ministry that we got to work with. And I'm going to ask them some questions about some of the service projects that we worked on and their experiences that they had while they were there. So Tom, do you want to go ahead and just talk about what job you did while you were there and your overall impression of what happened?
I went to, it was called Behrman. It was a warehouse where they kept all their files from every year that they had been open. And there's a law that, or with legal issues, you have to keep files for 10 years. And so there was files in there for 20 years. So we got rid of them. We moved them across the warehouse, and on Friday we shredded them. We shredded over 18 ton of paper. So that's a lot of paper. And we didn't really get any like face-to-face interaction with the homeless or in the shelter or anything, but we did something for CAMBA that nobody else was going to do, and it was fun doing it, and they thanked us for it.
Okay, Rachel, if you want to talk about what you did while you were there.
So my group, we were in a neighborhood right outside of downtown Brooklyn at a shelter called Park Slope Women's Shelter. And it was actually based out of an old armory there in Brooklyn. And it housed about 90 women, I think, at a time. And New York has a right to shelter policy. So any woman that came to the shelter, if they had room for her. They would definitely take her, regardless of the circumstances and whatever she may need. And one of the services that they offer to these women who stay at these shelters is that they provide her with clothes or whatever she may need for interviews or just day-to-day life and things like that. And so they get these clothes for this service just from the local community. And people really donate because there were hundreds upon hundreds of bags of clothes that we were tasked with sorting through and figuring out which things were in good enough condition to keep for these women and which things needed to be thrown away. And this was an extremely old building, so the hot water pumps for the radiators were in the basement where we were working. So it was hot and the days were very long, but it was also really rewarding. We didn't necessarily get to interact with the women that were there, but we got to see them and we got to see and learn about a lot of the programs that they're involved in there. And we got to build some pretty close relationships with the people that work there at Park Slope and kind of see how just working at the shelter has impacted their lives and how they've been able to see the lives of the women that live there changed.
So I worked at the Canva offices, or HQ as we call it in the biz. We stuffed envelopes, we sent out like tons of newsletters and stuff just to get the word out about Canva. I had my own office, it was pretty nice. I was entering addresses into a database, and I pretty much had that office wrapped around my little finger. But anyway, it was awesome, it was really fun.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you all some questions. Rachel, you want to go first? What made you decide to go on a mission trip?
Well, mission trips are something that have been a really important part of my life for a long time. But all the mission trips that I've gone on up to this point, I'd either been a participant in high school, so I was sort of my hand held, kind of guided around everywhere we went, or in the last few years, I've been a chaperone. So I've not had any time to sort of be an adult type person on a mission trip. And so I really wanted to be able to sort of experience just sort of the responsibility of being an adult on a mission trip, and also just to be able to serve in a city that I really like going to. So it's just really nice to be able to have these sorts of experiences, and I wanted to be able to take advantage of that while I was here.
Okay, Tom, what words of encouragement would you give to those thinking about going on a mission trip?
Well, this was my second time going to Brooklyn. Last year when I went, I didn't know why I wanted to go, but one of my teammates was going. He's like, "You guys should just come with me, and that way, we can get our cross culture knocked out of the way." I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, what do you have to lose? Why not go and help someone? And so I went. I don't regret it at all. It was one of the best experiences of my life. You get to help people, and it's just really rewarding at the end. So if you're on the edge about going, just go. It'll be worth it, and you get your cross culture out of the way.
Okay, Lily, what is a funny story or an impactful moment that happened while you were on the trip?
Okay, so I'm from Pittsburgh. So when I went to New York, I went full-fledged hood rat. It was real bad. All my street smarts are flooding back. So I missed the metro multiple times because we never took the metro in Pittsburgh. We just had regular buses. Sometimes I would miss it on purpose just so I could be by myself. But it was just fun to explore and stuff.
Yeah, Lily was notorious for missing the train every single morning. That's okay. And Rachel, how did this trip impact you after you returned?
Well, as a look, it was definitely different than any mission trip I've been on, just because I'm used to a lot of just sort of like overtly Christian things on mission trips. So we do like park ministries, or we're advertising the churches in whatever area that we're on, or we're doing Bible schools and things like that. And so this was the first mission trip that I was able to sort of think about on a personal level, how do I hear the voice of Christ in an area that's not just overtly Christian, like this is what we're doing, and how do we, emulate Christ's heart in our own lives when we're not doing things that are sort of overtly Christian too. And so I think that that's something that I've really valued, just trying to listen for the voice of Christ in my own life, and trying to mirror the way that he lived, even when maybe it wouldn't be so obvious.
Well, thank you all for answering your questions. We encourage you all to get involved on these mission trips. Yes, your spring break, you don't get to go down to the beach or something, but I think that we all, took something so great from these experiences. We got to help other people. Yes, you get cross-cultural experience, but it's something that you come back with that is far greater than what you could have imagined. And as far as the Brooklyn trip goes, you get to work with a great organization. You get to take, you're taking care of people, which is awesome. And you're getting to see a whole different side to the United States. New York is an excellent city, and we really had a lot of fun. So we highly encourage you all to get involved and to try something new, go outside of your comfort zone. So we try to sign up next year. So thank you.
Thank you all for sharing your experiences with us. And again, I would like to encourage you all, if you're not graduating, to consider one of these trips. There should be other opportunities for other trips in the fall, hopefully. So see me, or Michelle Fagan, or Dan Price, or Emily Allen. Go in the name of the one who came not to be served, but to serve.